Welcome. I'm here doing a little experiment, sharing with you initially what we're going to experience when we come together. And I'd like to start with sharing kind of the definition of yoga, and then we're going to slowly go into do a body scan, all the while me explaining different things about meditation, what yoga is, what we experience. So hopefully that's created some curiosity as to what's going to happen here and now. Hatha yoga means union of sun and moon. Ha being the sun and ta being the moon. There are many definitions for yoga. Yoga for me has been like a science for life. And in the science for life, it's the union of body, mind, and soul. The wisdom literature of yoga includes the Yoga Sutras, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Vedas. The Yoga Sutras are 192 sutras or threads contained in 4 padas or books. There's Samadhi Pada, Vibhuti Pada, Samyama Pada, Kavalya Pada. And if these are words that you've never heard before, just see what you absorb. I'm using what they call a dead language, the Sanskrit words, and the Sanskrit language was vibrational. So notice how you respond to these different words, like what are you sensing in your body? The Yoga Sutras also include the 8 limbs of yoga, which outline how yoga, for yogis, how to experience a full, authentic, aware, joyful life. And within the 8 limbs are the asanas, which is the 3rd limb. And they're an exploration for uniting the body, mind, and soul, the physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual bodies. As a student deepens their yoga practice, there are little experiments of aligning the energetic body and the spiritual body to the physical body. And the physical body is called Annamaya Kosha. Yoga also means union or aligning the right side and left side of the body. The physical sun and moon are needed for us to survive. Within our DNA, we inherit biological circadian rhythms. In the philosophy and the physiology of the brain, there's a right brain and left brain. But it is also said that we have 3 brains: the head brain, the heart brain, and the gut brain, which are all part of our autonomic nervous system. And all of this information is going to be explored as we do an introductory. And there's an important nerve called the vagus nerve, which means wandering. And this vagus nerve connects our 3 brains, the head, the heart, and the gut. The vagus nerve has been studied extensively by Stephen Porges, and we'll explore that more as it relates to yoga. Stephen Porges developed the polyvagal theory, which the ancient yogis understood from their framework of the koshas. Stephen Porges says that all that we do is in the service of survival. So now then, yoga begins. Yoga is a cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. So now the journey, your journey of self-discovery, your journey of union with body, mind, and soul. So I'm now going to ask you to sit comfortably. And for many, this is a huge ask. Initially, asana meant to come to your mat and be with yourself. As society developed, sitting comfortably became a challenge. Thus, asanas were introduced for the body to sit and meditate with ease. Now close your eyes. Just by closing your eyes, what are you noticing? Or have you gone to thoughts? Did you go to your breath? Do you see color? Are there emotions that you didn't notice when your eyes were open? Even closing your eyes while sitting in a group is a challenge for some. So if you can, keep your eyes closed and sense this. This is a journey inward of being here now, and it can create challenges. Our first challenge is safety. When one does not feel safe, there's no learning. For me, I often find myself in a state of supervigilance and now realize that I was often stuck in the fight, flight, or freeze response of supervigilance. Relates to the polyvagal theory of Stephen Porges. When a person does not feel or perceive there are enough cues of safety outweighing the cues of danger, they go into survival mode. This is something we're all born with. When survival is at stake, there's a fight, flight, and or freeze response. This is within our DNA. When that response is engaged in times of survival and not discharged when survival is no longer at question, a person can have those responses frozen in the body. I've asked you to close your eyes. If you're in a new group and do not have enough clues or cues of safety to be able to close your eyes, be still and listen to what's going on, there's no learning going on. When survival mode is engaged, the rational mind is left behind. I'm asking you to be here now. For me, closing my eyes and trusting that I am safe was challenging. Initially, when I first closed my eyes, I became super vigilant. My supervigilance relates back to an incident at 18 months where I fell between wooden slats, which were a framing for a future cement basement. I had to be sawed out and probably was told to be still, and I was safe now. I was in a black hole, pre-verbal, and needed to be sawed out. The body remembers, and in yogic philosophy, this type of body memory is called samskaras within our anamaya kosha and our manomaya kosha, which is the mind. It has taken me decades to understand, to accept how my body made meaning out of what happened to me at 18 months. For a greater part of my life, I would never go down a dark basement. I needed to have the light turned on, even if the basement was well lit, as my basement has been for over 50 years. I'm sharing this for you to become curious about what you sense, see, and feel when you close your eyes. Your body's giving you clues constantly. There's wisdom within the body. Stephen Porges said we ignore our bodily clues at our own peril. Our body is our barometer. It's a wonderfully complex machine, our anamaya kosha. If you sense discomfort, adjust for comfort. If you feel pain or tightness in the body, take the breath there. Be curious about it. Inhale to the pain, pause, and exhale while telling yourself it's okay to let this pain or sensation go. Sometimes the sensation does go, and sometimes it doesn't. Again, learning to listen and be with our own world in our body, and I love to call it our world behind our eyes. Now we're going to do a body scan, starting at the crown of the head. So with your eyes and working down through the chakras, our energy body, which is also called the pranamaya kosha. So take your attention to the crown. The interesting thing, when we set our intention on what to focus, our attention will go there, magically to the crown chakra. What are you sensing? Take your time, feeling, seeing. If you're not comfortable with your eyes closed, do this with your eyes open. Move on to the third eye, located in the middle of the skull. Find a place directly between your eyebrows and place a finger there. And then go to the base of your skull and place a finger there. And then if you go to that space between your fingers, you're in the center of the third eye, the yes-knowing chakra. So take your attention there. You can release your hands. And what are you sensing, feeling there? Is it the same as the crown, or is it quite different? Yogis meditated on different chakras and found that each one had its own special element or quality and connected into the rest of the energetic body. And all of this is explored in the Samyamapada of the Yoga Sutras, of the wisdom literature of yoga. We're all connected. Now moving to the throat center, which is found at the base of the neck. Take your awareness there, take the breath there. What does this chakra feel like? Same as the two above? Often I find that these three are interrelated within. Some have even referred to it as a mandala. Now moving on to the heart center, which is anahata, and it means radiant energy circulating. You know where your physical heart is, but place your hands in the center of the body, in the core of the body. Place one hand over the other, and then just take the breath to the center of the body, which is beneath your hands. Take your awareness there, and what are you sensing? What are you feeling? What are you noticing? And again, for me, the heart feels very different from the three upper chakras as opposed to the three lower chakras. For whatever reason, I sense space. But what are you sensing? That's the most important thing right here, right now, is what you're sensing, what you're connecting to, how you have this union of your body, mind, and soul. Now take your hands to your solar plexus. It's kind of above just above your belly button, and place. This is called Manipura. And again, go right into the center of the body there. Take the breath there. Take your awareness there, and what are you sensing and feeling? Often I sense tightness. But what are you sensing and feeling? What are you noticing? This world behind your eyes. And now take your awareness to the middle of the belly. Svatasthana. And it means finding your sweetness in life. So breathe into the center of the belly. And kind of have the breath spiral around. And then finally we're going to the root chakra. So the root chakra tends to be found just slightly out of what they call the Annamaya Kosha. So it's within your energy body, your Pranamaya Kosha. So take the breath there. It's usually found around the tailbone, just kind of below it, in the core of the body. Good. And then gently release that. And now you've sensed your energy body, your 7 chakras. And if this has been new to you, just what are you noticing? Where are you going? Now I'd like you to take your attention to the breath. And here's many ways to look at the breath. So you can notice if the inhalation is the same as the exhalation. You can notice, is the breath fast? Is it slow? And you don't change it. You're being the witness. You're watching. And even in the watching, are you sensing your breath is changing? And now I would like you to become aware of the back of the body. And we're going to do what we call 3 working breaths. Just doing a little bit of pranayama. So become aware of the back of the body. Take a deep breath into the back of the body. Hold your breath. Now take your awareness down to the root chakra, and you're just going to take the breath from root to crown, and as you're exhaling, you're thinking long spine, relax shoulders, relax tongue. And we're going to do 2 more of those. Deep breath into the back. Pause, hold your breath. Take your awareness to the root chakra. Good. Now slow, slow exhalation. Root to crown, long spine. Relax shoulders, relax tongue. And we'll do 1 more. Deep breath into the back. Pause, root. Slow exhalation from root to crown. Long spine, relax shoulders, relax tongue. Now return to being a witness to the breath. Watching your breath and noticing after doing 3 working breaths, has the breath changed? And if it's changed, how has it changed? And if it's remained the same, how has it remained the same? Are you able to remain focused on the breath? Curious about your breath? Are there fluctuations of the mind? And if there are, you just gently return to the breath. Now I'm going to, while you sit there in a meditative state, I'm going to read to you the 8 limbs of yoga. And again, if this is all new to you, there is a handout. You'll be getting all this information. But just see how your body responds. The 8 limbs of yoga, they're found in the Yoga Sutras. And it's also has been called Ashtanga Yoga in its original form. And the first limb is Yama, which is our contract with the world, or what goes around comes around. The first Yama is Ahimsa, where we practice being harmlessness in thought, word, and deed. Satya, truthfulness in thought, word, and deed. Asteya, non-stealing, giving others their due. Aparigraha, non-grasping, sharing with others. Brahmacharya, continence, pure conduct, stay in contact with self, authenticity. The second limb of yoga is niyama, our contract with ourselves. How can I proceed along a grounded spiritual path? First one is saucha, which means cleanliness, coming clean with our thoughts, words, and deed. Santosha, contentment, giving it our best, bringing contentment with result. Tapas, which means discipline, cultivating living habits, giving energy rather than dissipating. Svadhyaya, self-study with words, reading, and chanting, inspirational material. Ishvara pranadana, everything happens for a reason, in our best interest. Surrender. The third limb is asanas, yoga positions. Asanas reclaim our body from emotional patterning and energy leakage. It's unburdening the body of all it has taken on. And it's called the Annamaya Kosha. Fourth limb, pranayama, conscious breathing. It increases energy, prana, which dissolves subtle emotional imprinting, our armoring, helping to open and heal nadis, which are our energy channels, and you're connecting to the pranamaya kosha. Activates lung cells and brain cells, opening to wider consciousness. Breath is the natural entrance to inner territory as one becomes the observer of the breath. I had you observe the breath, work with the breath, and then observe the breath again. Pratyahara, returning to center. The body becomes stronger by absorbing more prana, which creates a protective circle where we return to our inner wisdom, our inner center. And that, by doing our body scan, I was having you return to center. The last three relate to meditation. So 5 is dharana. It's when you're focused in your meditation and absorbed in your meditation. A deeper aspect of pratyahara, more absorbed as body moved towards regeneration and healing. The yogis found that by meditating on the different chakras, and I had you kind of just gently go to them, the more prana is increased, and there's a protective field increases because there's more awareness of what is happening. And then the next stage is dhyana. The meditator is at one with object of meditation. Developing self-awareness, differentiate between subject-object, and you're witnessing in a feeling way. It's almost like that when you're in dhyana, it's almost like you have an angel on your shoulder watching you watch your breath. Samadhi. The mind is calm. Sam, to bring together. D, in my own way. The first form is sambrajnata samadhi, where there's an object of meditation, and as the list goes on, they're progressive and depend on the amount of prana one absorbs. So first of all, it's vitarka samadhi, and that's getting our thinking straight along with words, prayer, and chanting. And that's going back to a lot of the yamas and niyamas. Vichara samadhi, where one senses a bodily chemical soup of well-being, which leads to ananda samadhi, where our energetic currents flowing through the body, which leads to asmita samadhi, connecting to the I am sense of self and not in competition with others. And then there's another type of samadhi which is called asambrajnata samadhi, where there's no object, where there's a deep interconnection, where the noticing of patterns dissolving through faith, energy, and remembering. When you focus on inner knowing, that journey inward, and it leads to self-realization, which is the end goal, which is kaivalya, which is enlightenment. In the next minute or so, you're going to slowly bring yourself back. And even noticing whether or not you want to come back. And remembering meditation, a body scan, and hopefully this has tweaked your interest, your curiosity about the 8 limbs of yoga, meditation, and all that yoga has to offer. Namaste.